Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We got a list of, I think it's 18 properties today. And why don't we get started? So the first one up is 341 Wilson, number 31, 249.9, and it looks like it's good value. I mean, really, a lot of the stuff on Wilson, you got to be careful of electric baseboard heat. This one is gas forced air, and it looks like original cabinets that they've painted and done a good job with. And then you've got some upgraded flooring, and they should do just fine. This one, actually, I don't find it's as good as the one on Laurier that we profiled yesterday, but I think that it's equally valuable in the sense that it's going to sell pretty quick. 100 Millside is, I think, a fantastic deal. We've seen condos in this building sell for $340, $350, and so at $270 it leaves you some room to do some work. There's lots of gardens around the building, typically a sort of a 50+ crowd in there. That's your Mill Pawn Shop, which is right across the street on Martin, and it's sort of the iconic tourist information thing that we see on all the brochures for Milton. Mostly original cabinets. You probably have to go in and do a fair bit of work. There's some vinyl floors there, but I think the value is absolutely justified. The condo fees are high. They're $642, but they include, you've got your in-ground pool, you've got a really nice building, well maintained, and it includes heat, hydro cable, all the rest of it. So pretty much you're paying property taxes plus your phone is basically your only expense. And so there you go. I think it's on the north side from what I can tell. It looks like it faces a building on Millside, but I mean the north typically doesn't have as desirable views as the south, but it's still in a good spot. So Pitfield is $279, and so this townhouse here. Now, if you look, you compare this one to Laurier and Wilson that we just profiled. It looks very nice, move-in ready. Not a lot of shots of the kitchen or anything like that, but nice crisp photos. You actually see some good photos today, which is refreshing and encouraging. This confused me for a bit, but I think it's a split shot with two of the vertical shots. Finished basement. The thing about this one that I like is it's a 4-bedroom, and there's a true 4-bedroom because some of the listings show 4. There's 3 upstairs, there's 1 downstairs. This one is a true with 4 bedrooms upstairs, only 1 full bathroom. But I think that that's definitely one of those things that only some people, like there's some people that need the 4 bedrooms, and in this price range at $280, you just can't find it in freehold, so they're going to do well based on that. 620 Ferguson is $329. You've got a little bit of a main floor area, get up to the living area on the second floor. Kitchen, open concept main area, so you've got upgraded flooring throughout, and it's really the equivalent of what can you find end unit 3 bedrooms Madme without the $50 fee that this one on Ferguson has. And $50 on a mortgage is about $10,000. So at $339, what's available, and it is, I think, competitive. We haven't seen a lot of them sell in this range. This would be one of the higher sales in this area, but I think they should do okay. I think that seems like a pretty fair price. Andrews Trail is $359. You've got one sort of long room here, and it can be tough. The only thing you can do is TV there, couch here. You walk through it, and then you've got an eat-in area with the kitchen there. Finished basement, done by the builder, not the owner, probably. That's usually how they're done. And then 3 decent-sized rooms upstairs. It does back onto Thompson, so you will have that effect. It's probably taken from this angle because you don't have to see the hydro wires going along Thompson. So they do take a bit of a hit for that, but at $359, this is a bigger and better home than some of the stuff we've seen on Kennedy Circle, Herman Way. The one that we had on Stover is a better location, but it didn't have actually as much finished area as this one here does. So they should do just fine at this price. I think they chose a really good price, and they might even sell it for a bit more. McCandless is $372. What you get there is a 1,370 square foot home with a nice kitchen. There's no hardwood floors. If this one had hardwood, and we have seen similar models like this one, you're talking high 370s anyways. So they've done a good job in pricing it, and they should do well too. So Barclay is a semi-detached, only 1 full bathroom upstairs. And it kind of looks like there's a model called the Philgrove, but the kitchen in this one looks a little bit different. So anyways, 377.9 is not a huge semi, and it's got a finished basement, and it's got a pretty decent size of yard with 28.5 wide. They're building detached homes on this size of property, and it's a pretty good street. There's parks close by. It's a nice street if you have kids. 377.9 I think should do the job quite well. Landsborough 419. We're talking about like an 1900 square foot townhouse. I think this room could have been staged better, because really, are you just going to sit on the couch and just stare at a wall? I don't know if that's, even if the couch was facing this way, I wonder if that would have been better off for them. Nice big size kitchen, big size family room. The floors are a nice color, and they should do pretty well. We've seen smaller townhouses sell for around this price too. As unbelievable as that is, I think they should do just fine. McDougal, this one here is 424.9. It's a 1,500 square foot home. It's called a Brent Grove. It's a semi-detached front room, which most people use as a dining room, and they've used it as a bit of a sitting room. There's your family, opens up to the kitchen. You've got some extended pantry here. The game on this one is that there was one that wasn't that great that had a finished basement at 425 is what they sold for. The next one up sold at 420 without the finished basement. So these guys here actually, I think they look a little bit nicer than both of them, and so they've chosen a good price. The semis are kind of all over the place, because we've seen 1900 square foot semis sell for 405, and then we've seen 1,500 ones sell for 425. So it makes it very difficult to compare values. Mockridge is 494.5, and not sure which model it is. I'd have to go back in the brochures. It's got nice crisp photos. The staircase, you've got a front room there, and then you go back further in the house, and then you also have your kitchen open up to your family room. So granite counters, they've got the upgrades that would justify a single garage up at 495, and I would just say check the plans to see what's behind you, because Mockridge right now is pretty much the furthest south. Is there going to be more development, more land being used south of here, and what kind of homes are going to be there? So anyhow, I'm not sure about this one. There's arguments on both sides about that price. Cabot Trail is 499.9. You're on a 45 by 162 foot property, which is a very nice size. You've got an in-ground pool, 20 by 40, which is a big size. And so 4 bedrooms on this one. I believe there's been an addition at some point, maybe on the garage. So I think it's this house right here. If it's got the pool in it, in which case you're dealing with obviously a nice sized lot, but you've got commercial behind. That commercial, as far as I know, is zoned for 4 stories. So if these guys ever decided to rip it down, or there was a joint venture where they just took all of these and put something in there, they could do 4 stories from what I know. And how would that affect your enjoyment of this property? Will that happen tomorrow? No, but if it does happen, you just want to be prepared and know that information. So Scott Boulevard is around 18 something square feet. We've seen this model sell for around this price recently. I think you take a hit in value for being on Scott, because it's a bit of a busier street. It's kind of a long, narrow room. It's a little awkward to kind of where the TV is and everything else. They do have a finished basement here, which I think definitely helps their cause. And I look at that, and that's probably where I would hang out most of the time after I was done eating and so on. So it's actually better value than some of the stuff we've seen. We've seen 1850 square foot, like Quincy Corners and stuff like that. The Manamy double garage that I don't think is as nice as that one there. But I'm not a huge fan of living on Scott as a street. So Holdsworth is 539, and so it almost looks like the Larkspur. It looks like a smaller house, which could just mean that you've got one main floor room. Although this looks a little bit bigger. So there's the one above the Larkspur, and I think this is the one at 2090 square feet. Larkspur's like 17 something, and the bedrooms look bigger upstairs. So let's have a look here. Yeah, so it's 2090 square feet, so it is the larger one. The thing about this one that right now it's difficult to even imagine being able to build a new 3-bedroom. Really, if you have to sell that, like, I don't know if that's really a good home will sell itself. I can guarantee that front to back. We see it all the time. Very flexible closing, very flexible possession. That basically means the same thing. And the last thing I would say is here on Perth Real Estate Board, our license covers all of Ontario, but I look at that and say, Is it in someone's best interest to hire someone who's more than an hour away from the area where the house is listed? I know if you put me over in London, Ontario, or in Kingston, technically my license says I can sell there, but I wouldn't know the first thing about it. So it's a difficult thing. What if somebody calls and wants to see the home? Is it something where a half day is going to be devoted to showing someone on a sign call? It's just one of those things that hiring a local realtor has its advantages for sure. So Galbraith is 549, and so we're talking about a home that it says it's between 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. It's on a decent sized property. 46 by 94 is a very respectable size. Plus they've got the deck here, and looks okay. A lot of clutter. I would have taken down some of the stuff off the top of the cabinets here, off the countertops. It really does make a difference. How you live in a house, how you sell it are completely different. And we've got this one on Sinclair at 555. Bit of unique characteristics. Again, it's got a fantastic lot, 55 by 105. That's old Milton size. The bleached floors, a little bit of an older kitchen. There's a lot of clutter in here. There's a lot of things that by simplifying, I think would actually help their cause. And they do have a finished basement here too. So the price is down a bit, a little bit more where I thought it should have started. You will get some traffic coming by. Sinclair does. It's a street that you cut into to get into the rest of the subdivision. This one on Homes, the photos just aren't doing it, especially when these guys have a competitor at 479 with the same house that has many more upgrades than this one on Swindale. So I don't know if 689 is going to do it for these guys. Guelph Line is at 899. It's an 18-acre property. It's got a beautiful look to it. It has been for sale. It's called the Frog Hollow. Jay Robinson built it. You've got some authentic wood here. I think it's a great country property. I think it looks beautiful. There's lots of, you look at the sort of turret effect of these windows. Nice stuff. Very, very nice. I would just be careful of how close you are to Guelph Line because it can be busy, although you get up to 25th Side Road and it's not quite as busy. And then we've got this one here at 1.149, and it's a bit of a niche product. It's basically 37 acres, more of an equestrian use. And when you look at this one here, it's a net operating income of $60,000. So the gross income, the cap rate, all that kind of stuff, half of this house is just devoted to that business side, and then you've got half of it devoted to the rest. There's no photos. I don't have a lot about the house, and this is more of a niche product. It requires a completely different analysis than just looking for a house over in Hawthorne Village or in Dorset Park. So that's the list. If you have any questions, give us a call. We'd be glad to help you. And there's a couple decent ones in this list that I think might be worth checking out. So have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.